Here's how I close the greatest living copywriter on the planet right now, Ben Settle, with a single email. I'm going to show you that email in just a second. Now, if you're in any way familiar with copywriting, you will of course know who Ben Settle is. He's the owner of the famous Email Players newsletter. He's been on top of the copywriting game for over 30 years now and has worked with all of the biggest copywriters in the world, with some of the biggest companies in the world, and somehow this guy closed them as a spotty 21-year-old on YouTube. Just think about it. This guy gets thousands of pitches per year in his inbox, and 99.9% of them get completely ignored, while the other 0.1% mostly get rejected. Also, if you're new here, subscribe, because over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be dropping a 6-part copywriting course completely free that will show you exactly how to get clients and how to make money as a copywriter. I've been there and done it. I've made multi-six figures as a copywriter, and I will show you how to do it. I'm also going to be sharing secret trainings on Instagram, so watch to the end of the video to find out how to get those. So I'm going to go through this email bit by bit, and you can skip ahead if you want and look at the full email, but you're not going to get the context of why this works so well, so I recommend you just watch it through. So to start with, the subject line, super important, super simple, super personalized. Literally just Ben Settle plus Matthew Morgan podcast. I wanted to get Ben on a podcast, and I know that he's literally done a handful in his career, so I knew this was going to be very difficult. I kind of sent this email off knowing that he wouldn't get back to me, and I was very surprised whenever he did, but I suppose when you read the email, you'll see the quality of it, and you'll see why it works so well. So, scrolling down. Howdy, Ben. That's just something I thought of a personal touch. Like, I look at his kind of style and how he speaks in his emails, and I thought that would speak to him. Long-time follower, first-time emailer. First thing you should notice here is how it's spaced. Very, very basic, very easy to read. He can tell immediately that a good copywriter has written this because it's so simple, and someone who sends him like a literal paragraph or a wall of text, it's not even going to be looked at. So, long-time follower, first-time emailer. So, what does this establish in like the first line? It gives contrast, first of all, which is always appealing to the eye. And it also tells them that, hey, I've been watching you for a long time, so I'm probably indoctrinated into your way of thinking, and I really like you, and you can trust that I am someone who values you a lot. And it's literally that first line tells you, hey, I value you a lot because I've been following you for a long time, and I'm a first-time emailer, so I haven't been spamming you in the past. I've literally just let you know about this. So that's the first line. Very powerful. Second line, I run a YouTube channel. I hyperlink the YouTube channel into the words, and so he can immediately click on it and see. Now, he was able to see that this is very important as well. If you are pitching anybody, you need to have some sort of credibility or some sort of social proof. You can't just absolutely, if you have a link to something, it can't be an absolutely terrible Instagram page with the most basic post that everybody else does and that takes like 2 hours to put together. Because if that's the case, what is the barrier to entry to you creating a good sort of competitive advantage? Why would a business owner work with you if they can see that you only spent like 2 hours on your Instagram page? Because I guarantee that's exactly what you've done, or that's what you've tried to do in the past and it hasn't worked, because I see it all the time. I literally see beginners all the time and they all do the same thing. So I run a YouTube channel that teaches copywriting, very, very straight to the point, and I have a list of about 3,500 people. So this is the email list that I had at the time. Now, I sent this a couple of years ago. So that literally tells him exactly what I do, why I'm valuable to him, and how he can very quickly verify and check that my YouTube channel is going to be valuable for him. Because I knew that, this is the research that I done. I had watched podcasts of him before, and someone asked, hey, why did you come on this podcast? And he said, oh, it's a good way to get leads for my email list. So it's a good way for people to hear me for an hour speak and then go and sign up to my email list and pay me money. So I knew immediately, that was my market research on Ben. You need to do your market research on whatever prospect you're speaking to. So I use that market research to literally be like, okay, this guy is interested in growing his list, and that's something he can do. If he can hop on a podcast for 1 hour, that's 1 hour's time, and now he's got a podcast that's on the internet that's going to be driving leads towards his business for years. So that's immediately my first thinking. And I know I'm analyzing this a lot, but this is why it's valuable. Most beginners don't know any of this shit. So I'd love to have you on for a podcast/short video, and we'll gladly promote something for you free of charge. So you see how quickly I've gotten to the point here. Long-time follower establishes that I like him and it's my first time emailing him. Then establish credibility in the second line. Third line, here is what I want from you. And here is why it's worth your time. Because look, I've got 3,500 people that can subscribe to your list, and I have a YouTube channel full of young, hungry copywriters who want to learn from Ben. So I would love to have you on for a podcast. Like, this is such an easy win-win for him, because all he has to do is hop on, literally speak for an hour, and then he gets like tons of leads for the next couple of years. So I made it very, very clear that, hey, this can be a podcast or a short video, just so I'm not wasting too much of your time, and I will gladly promote something for you free of charge. Make that free of charge very, very clear. You can see the stylistic choices I've went for here. If you read any of Ben's emails, you can see where I kind of got my inspiration for this email. Another snot-nosed kid looking for an hour with a Ben Meister. So I just did this as a funny way to kind of like, you know, kind of position myself as not taking myself too seriously, and also just being like, hey, look, I know you probably get this all the time. Instead of saying it like that, because most people are like, I know you get these emails all the time and you're probably swamped, and I know you know the value of short form content. That's what everyone does, and it's so, there's no creativity in you saying that. Like, you have to be creative. A lot of beginners, the reason they don't get clients is because they literally don't want to put any effort into their outreach. They want to do the most basic, bare bones thing that they can think of. Oh, I'm a young kid, and oh, I don't have much experience, or oh, my English isn't great, but will you please listen to me? It's like, no, that's not selling yourself to the person. You have to sell yourself to the person, and you have to put creativity behind what you're saying, or else they don't give a shit. People do not care about you. They're here to run their business. If you can add to their business, they will consider it, and their perception of whether you can add to their business is very dependent on the email that you send them. So that email has to be creative, it has to have thought put in, and there has to be effort put behind it, or else they're just not going to reply. So this is basically classic Ben Settle in the way I wrote this. I know. So just acknowledging, hey, look, I know you get this all the time, but hear me out. You see how simple it is? It's so short and it's so basic, and it's easy for him to read. Like, his eyes are so glued to every line because it's so easy to read. You reach a new audience of motivated young copywriters and marketers, and I get to chat to the guy who got me into copywriting. So I'm very easily making it here like, look, I'm not going to torture you for the next 3 weeks about like asking you boring questions. I just want to have a chat. Make it very, very simple. Don't scare them off. Like, you can't scare off your prospect by being like, hey, can I get you on a 15-minute consulting call quickly? Like, they don't care. They just want to know that they can get what they want, and it's going to take the minimum effort from them. So you have to portray that. You reach a new audience. So again, just hammering home the fact that like, this is what I can offer you. This is exactly what you get. Very, very simple. Win-win. This is a win-win. You see how I'm separating lines? I'm doing like a couple of short lines, a couple of longer lines. That just makes it easier. Ben teaches that. I won't blabber on, but let me know if this piques your interest. So a very simple call to action at the end here. I won't blabber on, just being like, that's all I have to say, because there's no point fucking wasting any more time. I could have written something else being like, oh, I loved your recent email about blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Get to the point quickly. Let me know if this piques your interest. That's the simplest, most sort of risk-free call to action of all time. Not, let's hop on a call, or get me on WhatsApp, or get me on Telegram, or something like that. It's literally just, let me know if this piques your interest. If like piques your interest is the simplest way to like get someone to speak to you, because it's just like, yes, this has piqued my interest. Piques your interest is like the lowest form of interest, and for them, you just want this call to action. As soon as they read it, you want them to be thinking yes. So if you say, let's get on a call, they're probably like, I don't give a fuck with this guy, I don't want to get in a call. But if you say, let me know if this piques your interest, all you have to do is reply with like 3 words. Yeah, let's do it. And if you go and have a look, you will see, sure, let's do it. That's literally the response he gave me, because I made it very, very easy for him to say yes. I said, look, you're getting exactly what you want here. I've done my research on you. I know this is what you want, and I won't waste your time. So let me know if that's interesting to you, because these guys are so busy. So that's the email. I'm going to cut back to myself and basically end the video here. Do not leave just yet, because there's something very, very important. I'm going to give you some goodies for free on Instagram. But yeah, hopefully you found this video valuable. Comment if you have any questions about this, or if there's anything you want to see about copywriting on the channel. So I'll catch you on the big screen. So like I said, subscribe to this channel, because you're going to get a full 6-part copywriting course over the next couple of weeks. And if you go to my Instagram, I'm going to release some exclusive secret trainings for you that you will not get anywhere else online. These are worth thousands of dollars. So I'm going to share them with you. All you have to do is follow me on there. I'll be posting stories about them. That's how you'll get to know them. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.